So in our last video, we were working with polynomials, right? We were adding and subtracting polynomials. That was section 1.3. And we said we're going to start multiplying polynomials. This is going to be section 1.4. So that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on polynomials, but multiplying them. So we got some new exercises. Instructions are to perform the operation. We're going to be multiplying. So let's say I got, let's say I got 3x squared. And I want to multiply that by 2x squared plus 4x minus 8. So it looks like here we got a monomial, 3x squared, right? It's a monomial, it's just a polynomial with one term. And then we have another polynomial with 3 terms, right? We have a blue term, a green term, and we got, let's say, a red term, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to use what's called the distributive property, or distributive property. So we're going to multiply 3x squared times 2x squared. So remember, you have to multiply the 3 times the 2 together. So when you take 3 here times 2 here, that's going to give you 6. And then when you multiply x squared here times x squared, remember when you have x squared times x squared, you add the exponents. Remember properties of exponents, x to the 4th. All right, then we're going to distribute 3x squared, that purple term, by positive 4x, right? We're going to take 3x squared times positive 4x. All right, so I'm going to take 3 times positive 4. That's going to give me positive 12. Let me do green. I'm going to do 3 times positive 4. It's going to be positive 12. Then I want to do x squared times x. What's x squared times x? X squared times x is x cubed. All right, and then we're going to go and distribute 3x squared, that term in front, by negative 8. All right, so we're just going to take what? 3 times negative 8. What's 3 times negative 8? It's negative 24. We have to remember to plot that x squared on the end. Plot the x squared on the end. So there you have it. That is distributing 3x squared through that trinomial there. All right. Let's do another. Number 2. Let's say I got 5a squared b to the 3rd multiplied by, let's say I got 7. How about a cubed minus 4ab minus 2b plus 9. So again, we got this purple term, which is a monomial, multiplied through by this 4-term polynomial. So this 4-term polynomial, let's say, has a blue term, a green term, a red term, and a yellow term here. Let's make the 9 the yellow term. So we're going to distribute through it. We're going to take 7a cubed and multiply that by 5a squared b cubed. So 5a squared b cubed times 7a cubed. How does that work? So we're going to take what? 5 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35. We're going to take what? A squared times a to the 3rd. What's a squared times a to the 3rd? A to the 5th, right? You add the exponents as properties of exponents. And we're going to have a b cubed, right? Don't forget your b cubed. All right, then we're going to take 5a squared b cubed. We're going to multiply through by the 2nd term. So I'm going to go green here. I'm going to take 5 times minus 4. What's 5 times minus 4? Well, it's minus 20, right? And we're going to take what? A squared times a. A squared times a is a cubed. And then we're going to take b cubed times b. What's b cubed times b? B to the 4th. All right, now we want to distribute 5a squared b cubed by this minus 2b term, right? This red term. Let's take 5 times negative 2. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Let's take a squared. And let's take b cubed times b. What's b cubed times b? It's b to the 4th. All right, and finally, we want to distribute 5a squared b cubed by this last yellow term here. So we're going to just take, let's go yellow. Let's take here 5 times positive 9. What's 5 times positive 9? It's positive 45. Then we don't want to forget about the a squared. And we don't want to forget about the b cubed to squeeze those in. Well, there you have it. There's your final answer. All right, so that's taking a monomial times a polynomial. How about we do something like a binomial times a binomial? Let's do a binomial times a binomial. Number 3. So a polynomial with 2 terms times a polynomial with 2 terms. Let's say we got 5a minus 4b. That's a binomial, right? And let's say we got 2b minus 3a. So here you're going to use a form of distribution which we sometimes call FOIL, right? FOIL, have you heard of FOIL? So I'm going to call this blue. I'm going to call this one red. I'm going to call this one... I guess you don't even need to color code. I'm not even going to bother color coding here. Alright, so I'm just going to multiply. I'm going to do 5a times 2b. So that's my first. So I'm going to do first, outer, inner, last. I'm taking 5a times 2b. This is my first term. What's 5a times 2b? Well, we do 5 times 2 is 10. We have to do the a, and then we have to do the b. So we're going to get 10ab. Then we're going to do the outer terms, let's say. I'm going to multiply these terms together. We're going to take 5 times negative 3. What's 5 times negative 3? It's negative 15. And I'm going to take a times a here. It's going to be a squared. All right. Outer terms. How about the inner terms? So I'm going to take these guys here. Negative 4b times 2b. So we're going to do what? Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. I'm going to do b times b is b squared. So inner terms are done, then we do the last terms, right? We're going to do negative 4b times negative 3a. So I'm going to take what? Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, right? Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, and then we're going to have b times a, you can say is ab. Now the thing I have to remember here, that was my last, I have to combine any like terms. Do we have any like terms here? Turns out we do, right? This 10ab and this 12ab, those are called like terms. These are the same types of terms, so we have to combine those together, right? What's 10ab and 12ab? Turns out that's going to be 22ab. So we end up with 22ab minus 15a squared minus 8b squared. That's my final answer. Now you don't have to put the terms in that order. You could have put like the minus 15a squared first, or the minus 8b squared. But you have to have those 3 terms. And you have to combine the 10ab with the 12ab to get 22ab. Alright, so that's a matter of foiling. Let's do another example where we foil. Let's say we got 2xy plus 3 times 4x minus 5y. Alright, so I'm going to foil. First, outer, inner, last. I'll do this one more quickly. I'm going to do 2xy times 4x. 2xy times 4x. Those are the first terms. So I'm going to have what? 8x squared y. Okay, then I'm going to do the outer terms. 2xy times minus 5y. When I do 2 times minus 5, I get negative 10. I'm going to have an x, then I'm going to have a y times y is y squared. Alright, then we want to do the inner terms. I'm going to do 3 times 4x. That's going to give me 12x. And then I want to do the last terms. I'll do those in red. The last terms are going to be what? 3 times negative 5y. So 3 times negative 5y. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, and then we got the y. So negative 15y. Question, do we have any like terms we can combine? Can we combine any like terms? No, right? 8x squared y is different than negative 10x squared y. The x squared y and the xy squared are different terms. So here you don't have any like terms that can be combined, interestingly enough. All right, let's see. This will be my final example here. It should be interesting. How about I have 9x minus 3y, parentheses around that, and squared. 9x minus 3y, and then parentheses squared. How do we do this? How do we do this? Well, remember what it means to square something. You see this big purple square right here? What does that mean? That means you multiply 9x minus 3y by itself, right? That's what it means to square. It means something gets multiplied by itself. So you get 9x minus 3y times 9x minus 3y. So that's what it means to square, right? You have two copies, right? Two copies of 9x minus 3y. So now we're going to FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. I'm going to start with the first. 9x times 9x is going to be what? Well, 9 times 9 is 81, and x times x is x squared. So we're going to have 81x squared. Then we're going to do the outer terms. 9x times negative 3y. 9x times negative 3y. So we're going to do 9 times negative 3 is negative 27, and x times y is xy. So 9x times negative 3y is negative 27xy. All right, let's do the inner terms. So we're going to do negative 3y times 9x. Negative 3y times 9x. Well, negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. And y times x is also known as xy. So negative 3y times 9x is negative 27xy. All right. Oops, I forgot to check off the outer. And now for the last. For the last, we're going to do that in blue, I guess. No, we've already done blue. Let's do yellow. So we take negative 3y times negative 3y. What's negative 3y times negative 3y? Well, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, and y times y is y squared. So negative 3y times negative 3y is positive 9 squared. Now, it turns out that in this case, you got like terms that can be combined, right? You got negative 27xy, negative 27xy. That's going to give you minus 54xy. And let's not forget, while we're simplifying this, to keep the front 81x squared and the back here positive 9y. Beginning and the end. So those two middle terms combine to give you a middle term of negative 54xy. We got, so final answer, right here. 81x squared minus 54xy plus 9y squared. So very important when you're squaring such things to write them down and then the FOIL out. All right, I think that is it for our lesson on multiplying. Polynomials. Yep, that's it. All right, so that's it for 1.3, 1.4. So the next bit of material, we're going to change gears. We're going to go into factoring.